Hello, everyone, and
Good
welcome,
morning.
welcome. Good morning. Welcome to our PBA member panel, where we have five incredible PBA members who are here to share their story of PBA, what they've experienced, what business was like before PBA, what shifted for them, and really what has allowed them to see success in their business. So I'm going to do a little intro of our amazing panelists that are here today before we get started. So first we have Kimberly of Fit Mama Foods. So Kim, if you want to wave, oh, there she is. So Kimberly sells protein bites. So she's in the food business and she had her first five-figure online sales month within weeks of enrolling in PBA. And you'll hear from Kimberly how she was participating in markets and was able to cut back on her markets, grow her business while being a busy homeschool mom to twins who compete in elite level sports. So we'll hear from Kimberly and her story. We also have Nancy from Brighter Day Pigments, who does watercolor pigments. And Nancy got her products into Anthropologie, which is such a fun story. And we're going to hear from her about how that happened. We have Kimberly from K Bella Crafts, who doubled her online sales within the first 30 days of joining PBA, while also being a busy mom. We have Chelsea from Families Creations, who has a retail partnership that her products are in that's bringing in $4,000 per month in sales after joining PBA. And she has a very niche product in like the woodworking space. So it's amazing to see that even in a very niche category. And also we have Miss Catalina of Heliconia Boutique, who now has her products in 10 stores and just really has exploded in terms of invigoration and passion and excitement for her business after joining PBA while selling jewelry, which is a very saturated category as well. So, big welcome to our panelists. What I want to do first is chat with Nancy because Miss Nancy's on the road. And she still was like, I'll come do this panel because I want to share this story. So, what I want to do is bring Nancy on board and tell us a little bit specifically about what shifted for you when you joined PBA, when you went through the Etsy Algorithm Secrets course, getting into anthropology. Just talk us through that transformation for you because getting your products into anthropology is absolutely insane. So tell us all about that. Oh, you're on mute, Nancy. Let me see. I just asked to
There
un.
we go.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Sorry about that. I'm on my phone. I'm not used to it on Zoom on my phone, so because I'm traveling today.
Yeah.
But yeah, Etsy. I started out with Etsy algorithm secrets, and to me that was amazing. I really followed exactly everything you said. I used all the templates. I went through everything, and I had had an Etsy shop before without any success. I mean, maybe I had had a few sales, but of course it was because I had just put things on there. I hadn't, used any techniques to to attract buyers. So I did follow your instructions like exactly. I went through everything and then that was how I was found by Anthropologie because you include all those techniques and ways to be found and ways to improve how you can be found and ways to improve your listing and ways to improve how to explain it and things like that. And the buyer was just searching for a specific thing on Etsy. And I was in that category and I was found because I had used all those templates and that information. And then I just negotiated with her. It was a long process of like 6 months of negotiating about the products. And then finally I was accepted.
That is so incredible. And if anyone has questions while we're chatting here, please pop them in the chat too, so Nancy and our other panelists can answer. But I love that. And I actually shared your story during the live training of, yes, Etsy
Oh,
is great to get orders from customers. And also, it's incredible to get opportunities like Anthropologie, searching on Etsy for something super unique, and you having the tools to actually be found and them reaching out to you, which is insane. Did you ever think that your products would be sold with Anthropologie?
Well, not really, because my items are art supplies. So it wasn't. Now, I did have a goal to get in national stores, but I didn't have an idea that Anthropologie would be interested in my products because I didn't know that they were interested in art projects. It turns out that that was something that they were interested in getting into and expanding. And so that's where they were looking. And so they had had success with one person that they had tried out first, and she is a more nationally known like watercolor person, and she has a large social media following and stuff like that. So I'm sure they found her in that way. Um, but they wanted to kind of expand the category. One thing I've noticed is that they're very specific about what they want, not only with me, but the other the other people in the same category that they chosen have a very specific look and a very specific, I mean, it's pretty narrow, like what they're interested in. But I mean, I had no idea that they were interested in watercolor or art projects or projects, because really my item is a very good gift item as well. So I just didn't know. So.
Yeah, that's incredible. Now, how else has Etsy been going for you? Because you mentioned also just optimizing your store in general from what you learned.
So that is true. So in addition to being found on Anthropologie, then Etsy has become a great income source for me. Um, Through that optimization, you're right. I do get regular buyers all the time. Um, and so that's become like a great base part of my income. It is um, still like I think Etsy kind of is seasonal a little bit, where it's maybe not the same every month. I'm not getting maybe the same amount every month, but I do make quite a bit of money every month, and I think it's great because I have that great income, and I've found a lot of other customers that way and a lot of other people that follow me. So it's been really great.
Yeah, and how does that compare to how things were on Etsy before? Because Etsy is one of the main platforms that I really focus in on with people in PBA. It's all about your branding, it's about social media, Etsy, getting into stores, your website. Those are the main things that we really teach. So, how was Etsy beforehand? I heard you say it was you were
So
on
I
there, but what was happening?
So I had been on Etsy maybe about 9 months before I had met you, but I maybe had had like 5 sales or something like that. And so yeah, it was a dramatic increase. Like immediately as soon as I started implementing, it did take me a couple of months to go through and like revamp everything. And, like I would go back step by step and just keep working on it. It did take a couple months to get it going. But after I did that, I mean, now it's going all the time. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Are you paying for Etsy ads or not yet?
Okay, so I have experimented with that a little bit, and sometimes it goes well, and sometimes it doesn't. I'm sure that I personally need to learn more about it.
Okay.
So that is something I am trying to work on. So, I mean, of course, so even though I've gotten into anthropology and that's a huge success, I still have so much room to grow myself personally, and I'm constantly working on all these little things. Ads is one of them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And we do have that's something we can talk about inside PBA is your ads strategy, which comes next, because that's exactly how I want things to happen for every single person in PBA. It's okay, let's get the foundations. Let's get proof that Etsy can work. And like you said, it takes time
Hmm.
to watch the modules and actually implement it. However, it's
Hmm.
much shorter than trying to learn and do it all your own. But once you implement it, you
Yes.
start to see results, and it's like, let's put gasoline, fuel on the fire and pay for those
Mhm.
ads just to get in front of any more people. Now, the last question I want to ask you is what's next for you? Because when we chatted, I know you were talking about getting into some big art stores and starting to really focus in on that. So, what are some of your big dreams and what you're working towards?
Yeah, so it is true that I am trying. Sorry, I'm I'm driving. I'm parked, but there's cars by me. Sorry. So that is so I personally would like to transition more into wholesaling to be more into stores like Anthropologie. So what I am working on is trying to now transition my business to that instead of less like these individual sales, more to wholesale. One of the things I'm doing, I did start Fair like last week though. And so I've started that. I started a Shopify just basically for my anthropology products to try and, sell those more online. The other thing I'm trying to do is I did sign up, I told you, for this convention that's for the National Art Materials Association. So that would be focused on getting into art supply stores.
Mhm.
But that's not till next May. I have a couple of things I'm working on. I'm trying to um so the product that they have in Anthropologie, one thing I want to do is like offer that in more colors so that there's more variety for that. And then I'm also reworking some of my books so that they can be more manufactured, so I'm able to wholesale it. So it is kind of a lot of work because I really started doing everything homemade at home. I mean, literally what I sent as samples to Anthropologie was were things like with my logo on stickers, on the things because I hadn't had anything manufactured. So I have been working on like transitioning to getting everything manufactured instead of doing everything myself. And so although I'm still making all the paint myself, I'm working on getting my books. So like right now the way I do my books is like I kind of take them to the copy store and I collate them and stuff. So I'm trying to get them more manufactured and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did you start the Etsy program specifically? Was it about a
So
year
I,
ago?
yeah, so it has been a year.
Mhm.
I actually really started it. Um, so I met you actually in November 2023. I started it in January 2024.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so then it took me a couple months to do that. And then really a year in November 2024 was when I got approached by Anthropologie.
Oh,
Then
wow.
my contract with them was done around March or April, and then I was on their website starting in July.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. I think that just shows, and even when we look at what's coming forward, but how much can change in a matter of a year or 2 years. So, how you
Correct.
mentioned making everything yourself and now you're thinking of, ooh, what components can I manufacture? I know you're going to keep the actual paint pigments as something that you hand make because that's like your bread and butter, but the different bags, the different this, the different that, can you, or the booklets, can you get those manufactured to help you really scale your business and also bring some of your costs down? So it's just amazing to see what shifts from like a year and a half ago, getting started on Etsy, really trying to revamp this to in Anthropologie, making these big moves, going to an
Mhm.
art convention to potentially be in these art supply stores like Blix, etc., and having these really big
Mhm.
dreams. That is so inspiring to hear and to see. And that's why I wanted to have you here on this panel. So,
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. So having everything manufactured. So like when Anthropologie invited me, like I really had to scramble like to figure it out, like to get the samples, to get the things printed and to like learn how to do it. And it's just such a gradual process as you're learning how to do like each part. My business is pretty tedious. There's lots of small components, like learning how to do like each little part is
yeah, which is the
yeah.
fun part of it. Now, the very
Mhm.
last question I want to ask you, because you're in Product Biz Academy and you've really focused in on the Etsy side of it. And part of that is also still scratching the surface of everything that's in PBA. There's still so much
Mhm.
more to really uncover, which is beautiful. And I hear you saying selling on Fair, doing more of the wholesale items and learning that avenue too. So with you where you are right now and knowing that, what would be your advice for someone who's considering joining Product Biz Academy? What would you say to them?
Well, I would definitely do it because I feel like what you offer, you have so much value for what you're offering. Just the Etsy alone, I mean, you have it was amazing how much information is in there and how much that information can help you. What you offer is like so specific, specific tasks, specific templates, specific ways to get more success, and they definitely work. You just have to do them all. And so I did start PBA. I recently started PBA. Yeah. doing and but I agree that I personally still have more to learn. So like I'm starting at the beginning again. I'm going through my website again, going through all the branding, the marketing, just double checking anything. I think there's always ways to like constantly improve, and you have such good ideas for that.
Yeah, I love it. And that's beautiful. I love hearing that and love seeing the success you've had on Etsy. And we're just going to take that to every single avenue that you focus on, which is the fun part of it. How I like to explain PBA is like a library, right? So there's all these different books.
Mhm.
And Nancy, you started with the Etsy book. Beautiful. And now you've got an Etsy machine that's working for you. Now
Yeah,
it's like, ooh, what's the next book? The fair book, the website, the branding, really dialing into some of those things. And it's never a rush of like watching all the modules as soon as possible. It's what book do you want to focus on? What excites you? What platform are you on where there's potential? And how you've approached it is perfection. Like that's how it's meant to be. And I think that's a testament to some of the amazing results that you've also seen. So thank you,
thank
Nancy.
you.
Thank you for
Yeah,
being
thank you.
here. And thanks for pulling over on the side of the road to hang out with us.
Sure, no problem. Um, is there any more questions or
That is my
should I?
last question. I know you got to get to your destination, so if you got to hop
Okay,
off,
well,
thank you,
yeah,
Nancy, so
thank you
much
for
for being
having me.
here.
And yeah, I will hop off, but thank you for having me. And if you ever want to message me or anything, I'm happy to answer more questions.
Awesome. I put your Instagram in the chat for people to be able to
Okay,
follow you,
perfect.
and
Perfect.
if anything comes up, they'll be able to contact you there too. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank you so
Nancy.
much. Okay, have a good day. Thank you, Monica.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was Miss Nancy with her incredible story. And she is driving a long ways today and she pulled over to chat with us. So I wanted to give her some time so that she could be able to get back on her little road trip. Now we have our remaining four panelists that I kind of want to do more of. I'm going to ask a question and go around for every single person to answer it and go into that type of style. So, what I want to hear from every one of our panelists, and we'll start with Miss Kimberly Fritz, is tell me what your business was like just before you joined PBA. So, don't tell us what shifted, but what was it like before? Take us back to that.
So right before I joined Product Biz Academy, I just felt like my business was really chaotic because we do deal with food. I feel like it's very time sensitive. We want to make everything as fresh as possible for our customers so they have a really good experience. But I felt like I was constantly juggling things back and forth. Like you mentioned in my little bio, I am a super busy mom. We homeschool our children and we actually have to travel the world because they do elite level sports. So I just always felt like there was so much chaos and I never had a handle on my schedule. So it was always I was just trying to juggle and balance, and I just felt really exhausted and kind of lost before joining Product Biz Academy.
And were you participating in a lot of markets? Was that your main selling avenue? And what did that look like?
Yes, so that was pretty much my only source of revenue and income was markets. And
Mhm.
while I love being around, new customers and new faces and new people, it is really, really exhausting. And living in Arizona, we have to deal with a lot of the extreme temperatures and everything. So it was just not very fun. And we were having to we were trying to really do it as a family business. So, like, I would take one of my kids, and myself and one of my kids would go to one market. My husband and another child would go to another market. And we were just really trying to make things work because everyone always told me, oh, markets, 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 markets are where it's at. That's the only way you're going to grow your business. But I won't have a spoiler alert, but it is not the only way to grow your business. And I'm so grateful for meeting you. It was actually funny. We met at a conference, and I'm pretty sure everything that you told me, you could just feel the pain behind my eyes of doing a really, really long, 2-day expo where we met. And so, yeah, so just anybody who is dealing with just markets and everything, I will tell you there is a much better way to do it.
You know what, Dot? I just connected. I met you at Pinners, which is where I met Nancy, who was just
Oh,
speaking. She was at Pinners too, and she actually came to my Etsy
oh,
presentation at Pinners. I
oh,
didn't even, and you guys don't know each other from Pinners or anything, do you? Oh
no,
my
no,
God,
not at all.
how crazy. And she doesn't even live in Arizona. I don't know where she
Yeah.
lives. But that's nuts. Yes. So I met both of you at that exact conference. And we're going to talk more about your story of where you transitioned to, because it's been so beautiful to see you transition to growing your business, less markets, more time with your kids. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. I want to go to the next Kimberly. Kimberly, can you share with us what your business was like before joining PBA?
Yes. So I joined PBA of March of this year, the end of March. So I did the free class, and I've been in business for, I want to say, I started in 2020 during COVID, and before PBA, from 2020 to 2025, I had 35 sales in Etsy, the 5 years. So average 5 sales a year, more or less. That's what I was getting. Most of my sales were coming from Instagram and only locally here from Miami, Florida. Making networking at different pop shops. I was, my season's coming up, so it's every month or two, twice a month. I'm going to pop ups. I don't do it every weekend. But basically everything was just local sales.
Okay,
Straight,
beautiful.
yeah.
Okay, cool. We're gonna get back to you on how things shifted for you as well. Okay, let's go to Miss Catalina. Can you tell us what your business was like before joining PBA?
Well, I joined PBA on January 2025, and before that, it was a complete mess. Not just because of the structure of the business, I didn't have clear the target, I didn't have clear my communication, how it was going to be, but also my self-confidence. Like, I wasn't confident at all. Like, I didn't know what I was selling, I wasn't sure. I didn't study to be a jeweler. My career was actually marketing, but like with the program, it's like, wow, I knew marketing, but now it's like I really know about marketing. So yeah, it was a completely mess. And mainly what it has like shifted to me is like the confidence I feel right now of speaking, of taking my space, of being my CEO. And I feel like that's what I've been taking the most. Like Monica really encouraged you to be the CEO of your business. And this is how I feel it. And not just feeling it, but believing it. And that's why I think I'm seeing the results because I'm taking it serious. I have hired already like one person that is helping me with a lot of things. That's something that Monica also teach during the program. So it is life changing.
Yeah, and I remember we did a sales call, didn't we? Back in
We did. I
January?
wasn't sure.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Yes, we did a sales call. So Catalina was like on the fence and she got on the phone with me. And I remember just what I felt from you is that you felt defeated at that point
Yeah.
in time. And I remember you actually were paying someone to do your social media and you were like, it's just not working. I'm paying someone, it's not leading to sales. Is this even possible? And I was like,
Hmm.
Catalina, join us in PBA. Yes, it is possible. And seeing how much you have grown, oh my gosh, like your confidence and how you took social media back and now you're on there showing your jewelry, showing how it's styled. I'm like, that is the Catalina that I knew was there just from having
Yeah.
like that 30-minute conversation with you, you know? So it's beautiful for me to see that transition, but also to see how your business was before. It was like, this is my final, it kind of felt like this is my final Hail Mary. Is that where you were in January?
Yeah, I was like, is this gonna have a big switch or I'm ending it? Yeah, because
Okay.
I led my full-time job to do this job and definitely was a big I was full of emotions back then, but I wasn't sure. I was super insecure. But finding you and finding then it's not just Monica, it's the whole community. I had like the possibility to go and see PBA live, so it was also a huge experience. We all keep in contact. We support each other. So it's a very lonely path if you don't have the right like people around you. Not even your husband, your best friends are gonna understand you. They are all gonna believe you are crazy. So having people that is yeah in the same path is also very important.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to talk about PBA Live too, because it was so nice to meet so many of you there and really good to get you guys in person. Okay, thank you. Last person I want to ask about what their business was like before PBA is Miss Chelsea. So share with us, please.
Yes. So I also joined in January of 2025, and I think prior to PBA, I just felt like I was constantly working in reverse. I was fairly new to business, but also had a 4 and 5 year old at home, and jumped in with both feet and didn't really have the foundation set. So I I didn't do a ton of markets, honestly, because they are so much work. And the markets that I did do were at the end of the year, hence why January was a really good time for me to join. Um, but it was hard and exhausting. And again, I felt like I was just working in reverse all the time. And like, is this how this works for everybody? Was this a good career move? I worked in the healthcare field, which is, very secure as far as a job is concerned. And I had a lot of doubt that I made the right decision in going into business for myself. And yeah, I just that was kind of my Hail Mary of like, I don't think that I can do another holiday season that feels like that. And I also don't feel like I can just continue to work in reverse and just trying to be caught up. I never felt like anything was under my feet. I guess it was
Mhm.
just like gun and run.
Give us an example of what you mean by feeling like you were working in reverse. Take me back to
All
what
that I
that looked
was
like.
doing was trying to catch up with orders, trying to meet people's demands. I was doing workshops at least twice a month at the time, and I like workshops. I teach as well, so it was enjoyable to do those. But same thing, a lot of work, a lot of prep, and then 3 hours later, then you're just packing your little things back up and leaving. And so it was like I couldn't finish an order and feel like I was complete with an order, or go to a workshop and feel like I was content with a workshop, because then there were questions of like, oh, well, what if you offered this? Or what if you started making that? Or, I felt like the answer was to meet everybody's wishes, wants, needs. And really what I needed to do was be like, okay, I have, 25 workshop projects, and I let you freely choose, rather than some places are like, this is our project this week, or this is our project this week. Um, I had to really pare down, which came after I joined PBA. But at that point, it was just like, I can't meet demands fast enough. I can't do orders fast enough. I can't get caught up. I can't, again, make something, take pictures of it, put it on my website, post it to social media. Social media was a full-time job in itself. And I just, again, like working I could not get out of working in reverse. It was just a constant, I'm never caught up. I'm never just at my neutral place. I'm just running, 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 and I'm not going anywhere.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's like I have this long list, and no matter what I do, I'm never caught up. And
Mhm.
why that happens, and I think every single one of our panelists will probably agree with that, is as business owners, sometimes we get caught up in the busy work of things that maybe aren't as important as we think they are, or things that maybe we do to keep us in our comfort zone, or maybe we
Mhm.
do out of not understanding what it means to be the CEO of a business. And that's a big thing we do in PBA is focus on that CEO mentality of, okay, you are the CEO of this business. We need to start making decisions of what would the CEO do? How would they show up? What would they prioritize? What would they say yes to? And maybe most importantly, what would they actually say no to? So, Chelsea, while you're here with me, I want to hear from you. Tell me what really shifted for you after you joined Product Biz Academy.
I would have to say that I feel similar to how Catalina was saying, just the confidence of being able to say no. And you, Monica, are amazing at like making all of us feel empowered to be able to say that without having to worry about um, not having one person like my things. It was, I have to please everybody. Again, I have to make sure that I have exactly what this person wants and exactly what that person wants. And it has to be perfect. And my social media has to be perfect. I've got to not have my kids talking in the background, or, it was so much. If I fumble in one way with any customer, then that could impact me with 30 other people and, lose sales or whatever. And it's like after joining PBA, and honestly, after PBA Live, it's like I feel like I'm confident to say, no, I can't offer that right now, or my custom orders are 5 weeks out on turnaround time, or just anything. I just feel like I'm able to say no, and that's okay. And I started out with 97 followers on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like, how do people do this? I feel like I'm posting and I'm not getting followers. And I was so focused on it and worried about it, and so high and low with any sales. Like highs were super high, lows were super low, and it was never just what it needed to be peaceful. And you said one word in PBA Live, and it was equanimity, and it has literally changed my life and my business. But honestly, it's just having the confidence to say, you know what, okay, this month was a little bit slower. How could I change that? What could I do in my slow times? Can I get caught up on, back stock, or just how to navigate those times is now really easy. If I'm being honest, I did only one of the modules for PBA so far, and it was website. And now I'm like, okay, I feel good with my website. I don't get as many sales from my website that I do from the store that I'm in, and that doesn't bother me. And before it was like, oh my gosh, two people looked at my website and nobody ordered anything, or, I went a day without having anybody like something on social media, and I just have the confidence that just all around the confidence to just be like, no, my people are out there, and it's not everybody. Nobody is everybody's flavor, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, and I want to elaborate on two things in addition to that. The first one is your products that you offer, because I know on one of the coaching calls that was something that we talked about. So how has that shifted for you too? Because I heard you say before it was like people pleaser. If someone asks for something, yep, I can make it. Yep, I can make it. And before you know, you have all these SKUs, all these variations, all these photos to take, all these listings to update, all this inventory to manage. How have things changed for you in that regard currently?
It's just so much more peaceful to not have to feel again like you have to have all of the SKUs, all of the. I actually pared down. I took away some SKUs, and had more orders after that. I actually had increased prices at one point, which I was terrified to do. So reducing the amount of things that I sell plus increasing the price, I was like, this could be catastrophic for my business. Honestly, I was really, really nervous, and you were like, no, do it. It's time. You can do it. You've got this. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And it worked out so well. And again, I don't feel like at this point that I have to meet all of the demands, because, I feel like my customers are comfortable with me. Again, a lot of them are people that come to my workshops, which is a great community, and it's a great community of people and moms, and we talk, and it's just casual. And so I think that what they were doing was just like, oh, this might be a good idea, or oh, that might be a good idea. And initially it was like, okay, I have to do it then. If they want this, then I have to do it. And I'm like, yeah, maybe that's a great idea for like 5 years down the road. Or, like
Yep.
maybe when I need to kind of shake things up a little bit or take away a SKU, but I don't feel like I have to add and add and add and add products. Or, I mean, I haven't done a workshop in probably 6 months. And I don't. I'm not sad about it, I guess. In the sense of, again, you put the date out there, and then you advertise it, and then you hope that people sign up, and then they wait until the last minute to sign up, as most people do. But they get like that final reminder, and then they sign up. Well, in the meantime, you can't make the products hoping that they're going to order it when you have too many. You can't make plans to go do something different, or say, oh, we have a babysitter, so I'll take that as a date night, because then at the last minute you get something. So it was just a lot of sitting and then chaos, and then sitting and then
Mhm.
chaos. And now it's just like it's just more peaceful. I'm like, I can have backstock of workshop projects because I'm not adding and adding and adding to it, which
Mhm.
also means that I'm not like, for my workshops, I hand paint all of the things that I make and that I cut, simply because I need to know if it's something people can complete in a certain amount of time. So when you have 50 workshop projects that you've had to cut, tweak your file, hand paint, hand finish, take photos of, put them on your website, advertise them, like that was all sorts of busy work that didn't have to be going on constantly. And that's what I was doing, is making them constantly.
Yeah. And I think that for you, it's interesting because these workshops are kind of like your markets. So instead of
Mhm.
doing markets, you were hosting actual workshops. And I remember one of the conversations that we had is it was like, Chelsea, what do you want your business to look like? If you could have online sales coming in, be in stores, have sales coming in that way, so you have more time with your kids. Would you prefer that, or would you host these workshops? And what you had said is like, maybe I'd host a workshop or two during the holidays, but otherwise I want to be able to spend time with my family. And it's like, okay, then let's pull back on those workshops. Let's focus in on retail partnerships, website. You had the rebrand through Product Biz Academy, which I know you were super excited about, and really honing in on those avenues, which I want to ask you about two things. Number one, the rebrand, and then tell
Mhm.
us about this wholesale partnership, this retail partnership that you're now in that is bringing some months $4,000 in sales, which is absolutely incredible. So tell us all
Yes.
about that.
So the rebrand, hands down the best thing that I've ever done. I was really nervous about it because um, we are technically a family business, hence Families Creations. With that, though, it's primarily me as the designer and the artist and everything behind the scenes, social media, all of those things. But I work on it with my kids at home again. And my husband helps, and my mom helps, and my dad he does a lot of the engraving stuff and the ideas. And so, yes, it's this like family thing of we're all working together on it all the time. And so our initial brand had our photo in the background of it. And when we talked about rebrand, my first thought was, oh my gosh, she means that I have to change my business name. And I was like, it took a long time to come up with that. I've had so many people ask if it was a typo. People have said, well, I tried to search it and it was a fertility clinic. So, I mean, I was really nervous about the process altogether. And I spent a lot of time working on my rebrand kit and thinking of my colors and thinking of fonts. And it's so intuitive because it makes you dig deep into why you just about your brand, just in general. And I would finish a piece and then I'd get feedback and then I would like super, super dig deep into it, which was amazing as far as reflection for myself was concerned in business. And then you get that deep into it and then it goes to Kendra and then she's like, okay, I dug it even deeper in a layer that you didn't even know existed. And so like the colors that she chose were amazing. I didn't have to change the name of my business. On social media, I still have my family in it, but um, I'd I had so much hesitancy, and she was like, "This is why I chose this font." Crazy thing is, the font looks exactly like my husband's late grandma's handwriting, and she was a huge, huge, impactful person in his life. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is wild!" But Kendra's eye for it is absolutely insane. I am obsessed with what she did. The process, again, made me really dig deep into why I'm doing this. And that was at a moment in business where I was like, was this a good idea or not a good idea? So, hands down, started out amazing with the rebrand.
And did it give you more confidence? What was the feeling after receiving that rebrand?
Oh, hands down, more confidence. It just brings a level of professionalism, of course. And yeah, it makes well altogether. Your social media looks a lot more professional. Your business cards look professional. Your colors just vibe and they jive together. And she tells you like this color works with this color doesn't work with this color. But things just look so clean, I guess, compared to throwing it out there and hoping that it works. But I have obviously I have a creative mind and so I was like, okay, I think this is really good. And then again, she just like blew it out of the water and made me feel so much more confident. And it's like, yeah, this is my business card. Hello. And not that I didn't hand out business cards before, but now it's like, check this out. It's super cool.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Kendra, she's incredible. The rebrands that she has done. She pulls something deeper out of the information that you share with her, which is why she does such an awesome job and why she does the rebrands for PBA members. Okay, tell us about this retail partnership. $4,000 in this store. What's happening?
Yeah, so craziest thing is that I used to shop at this store like 100 years ago when I was in college. And I say shop loosely because I was in college and it was more expensive and it's this really super cute boutique. It's kind of a combination of handmade things and vintage things. And I was always, I just loved going there. It was really cool. It's completely my vibe. So I see an ad come across Facebook that was like, we actually have opened the basement of the store, which is massive. The I guess upstairs, downstairs is massive. So they kept the upstairs is what it was. Downstairs, they decided they would open to vendors. They had 12 spaces that they were looking to fill when they opened it, and I had never applied for anything like that. So I was like, I think that I'm going to apply just for the sake of getting feedback, what they're looking for, what they're not looking for. If I missed something in my application, I truly didn't think that I would. I mean, that was a total mental block. I was like, there's no way. And so I totally lacked the confidence at that point of thinking I would get in there. And I was just like, I'm just going to see what happens when I fill this out and see what kind of feedback she has for me. And um, within like 2 days, she asked if we could do a phone interview. And we did. And she was like, I looked at your Instagram and I absolutely love it. And I was like, wait, like mine, like did you get my information correct? I was like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, that will be perfect. We only have one person that's doing any of the things for each business. So that alone, I was like, oh my gosh, so that's really niche in the it's called the Bent Rusty, but that's really niche there as it is. And I was like, okay, so um filled out my application and was able to move in. And then it's just every month I've had really good sales. And um, I, again, the confidence of being able to, one, feel like I could apply at all, and two, be able to take my things there and um, walk around with my camera on and talking and different things. I would have never, ever had the confidence to do that and talk in public and, promote things. And I don't know if that necessarily brings people in to look at it with social media, or if it's just that people like the store just like I did. And um, it's wild. I stay busy and I don't know. I would never have applied at all prior to PBA.
Mhm. And didn't you apply? You were in PBA when you applied. I remember you posting in the
Yes.
group.
Yes.
What do you remember what you were posting? Either you had just applied and you were hesitant. I remember you saying something like, "Oh, this is just gonna be for practice,"
Yep, I
right?
posted that in the live or in the Facebook group, and I think that your response was like, "Go for it, you can do this." And I was like, "I don't know if I can." And then actually at the PBA live event is when she was like, "Hey, let's schedule this meeting," and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, it was the stars definitely aligned on that because yeah, I
Wow.
was real hesitant.
That's incredible. So seeing how much your business has shifted from being more reactive, being more responsive, always feeling behind, doing a lot of workshops, saying yes to every iteration of any type of product that someone would want, to now having this awesome retail partnership, gone through the rebrand, feeling confident in your business, saying no and being solid in your product offering, increasing your prices. That is what I mean of like being the CEO. Those
Yes.
decisions, that mentality, that type of leadership, those just what you're focusing on, what you're prioritizing is night and day. So night and day.
I honestly think it would have taken me like 10 years to get to that level of confidence or that level of like holding true to myself prior to PBA. Truly don't think that I would have been able to get there in less than a year, let alone in 10 years. I mean, honestly, the again, the level of confidence that you instill in everybody and like let us know that we're here to be our CEO is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been so incredible to see since what, January? So we're not even 9 months in. So
Yeah.
we haven't even hit the first holiday season with you in PBA. So that is absolutely incredible. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, hang around more with us, Chelsea. We're gonna have some more questions, but now I want to go to Catalina. We're gonna go in the inverse direction here. So, Catalina, you told us how it was like your final Hail Mary to join PBA, and things were just feeling discouraging and defeated. And then things really started to shift for you. So tell us what your business is like now, how you feel running your business, what you focus on, the results you've seen. Tell us what it looks like.
Okay, thank you. So, well, besides like feeling way more confident, I think like PBA has helped me to organize my business, like knowing exactly the type of communication, the people, like the target. Like before, I was like, oh, I want to speak to everyone. Like with PBA, I was able to recognize that people, that community that is following me. I was just checking my numbers because of the panel, and I saw that my Instagram in these 7 months have grown 15%. Probably for some people it's not a huge number, but that 15% of people is not random people, it's people that really wants to be involved with my business, it's people that is buying, it's people that is connecting and commenting and like growing my community. And I think this is all just because of PA, because I've been following the Instagram module, also like the wholesale one, and now I'm doing like all my packaging so I can get even farther to connect with more like in fair, starting to explore Etsy. So it's like a step by step. Definitely, I haven't explored. If I think if I would have done more modules, I'll be even more like far up. But I just rewatch them and it's like, oh, I need to work on this, work on like they have so much content and value content that I don't want to miss it. I just want to do it like super perfect. And one of those was the wholesale. So I started wholesale. That was my first project. And I remember I asked like 3 times in the group, in the Facebook group, like, are you sure I should go for wholesale? Because my Instagram isn't there yet. Like I don't have anything. And I remember people was like, yeah, try it. And you were like, yeah, just go for it. And I went for it and definitely work. I have learned a lot. I think it's gonna get even better because I have worked in my packaging, I have worked in my lashing, like everything starts like clicking. Of course, at the beginning it's kind of like messy, but you don't have to have it all figured out. And for me, now it's getting to the point like I'm getting more answers like quicker because things are getting better. So definitely at the beginning it's kind you think you are not talking to anyone, but if you keep doing it, you will see the results. So now I'm fortunate to say that I'm in 10 stores in 7 months, which I think is very good. And 3 of those are outside Colorado, also outside my state. So that means, yeah, like even outside of my state, I'm selling Heliconia, which is like, I'm so proud of that. And I have done even consignments that you also mentioned during that. And they are working perfectly because it's like something I'm not expecting. And it's like an income that just comes suddenly. So I'm in that point, I'm launching one of my collections right now. I'm doing my for the first time my first event in a private location with my community I've been growing here in Colorado. After that, I'm gonna stop doing products because I just want to focus in the ones I have already created. But it's amazing just to have like that people and people start like seeing you differently because you have again that confidence and it's not like, oh yeah, she's trying to sell you know, it's like it's my business, it's my company, and people start respecting it more, seeing you like not more in that friend zone that you also talk about that but also like converting and buying. So before I didn't have any sales online, like any at all. Now my website is getting to that point where I have like current sales weekly in my website, and people start like sharing, and people start like seeing people sharing, so they want to share more on Instagram, and it's like, oh my God, sometimes it's like, wow, all these people is sharing my products on Instagram. I get so excited. So I'm in that point. Of course, sometimes I still doubt myself, but that's when I go to a podcast, which is very, I like, is my therapy. So I listen a lot to the podcast. I try to join all the calls. I want to really do my Facebook. Like that's what's next. Like the Facebook part is what I want to do next, so I can start like paying ads and things like that and understanding that better. I just did my large order of packaging as well as inventory. So that's a big milestone. And I think that's gonna also like help me. Every little thing you do, you think is not doing much, but at the end is doing a lot. So all the hard work I did during those 7 months, I think is now paying off. Of course, I'm still going to some markets, but not as many as before. Before I will just say yes to any market. And it was, I end up in very sketchy markets around the area. And
I
my
think we've
Antonio
all
Lombardi.
experienced that at one point or another. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
So now I'm way more selective. Like I just pick the right ones. Private events, I love private events because I really get to connect with people. The Latin community here, it's very big and it's amazing how they really try to also like help you, yeah, like lift you up. So because I'm talking to a specific target, it gets even better.
hmm And I love this story because, like I mentioned earlier, before on that sales call, you told me like I'm outsourcing my social media, it's not working. And now, if you go to Catalina's social media, like she's on there, she's styling her jewelry. Some of her posts are in English, some are in Spanish. Like it's so
Yeah.
good. And I remember talking to Kendra at PBA Live. I'm like, Catalina, like we gotta watch Catalina because she's got her spark back, and this is just gonna be her year and watch her really come out of her shell and get more confident. So tell us about social media. Like, are you having fun with it? What now you said you're
Mhm.
building the community there. So just what does that look like and
Yeah.
feel like for you?
So yes, I did try 2 times with yeah, with an agency, and I remember even Chelsea was asking if she should do that, and I remember telling her like no. Like I tried. You have to have really everything very, very figured out, but to me it's super hard. So I started doing it myself, learning myself, literally with TikTok, asking TikTok how to use CapCut, asking like because it's a whole world. Like definitely you need to know, but once you know the tools, it's even like faster and faster and faster. And you can definitely put more of what you want to share with the world in your words if you do it yourself. Like that's something like now I understand why Monica was explaining to me, like it's very personal. Like it's your, yeah, it's your print. So you cannot, I tried multiple times and it wasn't possible. So now I'm having fun. Finally, like at the beginning, it was like, oh my God, I hate this. I don't, I mean, English isn't my first language. So, and part of the people that follows me and the community is people that, yeah, speak in English. So at the beginning for me was very hard to communicate, but it's believing also that, you know what, and who cares? I'm bilingual. Like I'm bilingual and not everyone is bilingual. So that's better than not like just speaking in Spanish. So I think I have realized that I've been following also other accounts inside PBA that they are very good with social media and marketing. So I've been following it and getting creative. And it takes time. Like I will have a day where I will have to sit down with my sister and think, what do we want to do? But now we have a strategy. It's not just like, oh, we are going to just post. We have the sale part, the SEL that you talk about that also in PBA. Very, very, like we use it a lot. And I keep doing it and I keep doing it. And I think sometimes people is not listening to me with suddenly thin sales. And it's like, it worked. And I try to keep it fun, like doing it differently. So I try to, yeah, get creative. It takes time. It takes part of my brain. That's why it's so important what Monica says. Like you have to start doing the uncomfortable things you have to do and not getting busy with all the other things you shouldn't be doing, but someone else should be, because the creative part does take part like of your energy. It's not like, oh, she's super creative. No, I have to sit down and really think what I'm gonna do and then recording. But now I'm also like always with my phone and recording everything, because everything can be content, and that makes it also easy. Like yeah, if I'm cooking, well, just put it there, and I try not to get it too invasive because I also like not to feel I'm always in the phone. But you get used to it, and you don't have to do it like, oh my God, I'm filming. It's more like natural. And sometimes I just speak whatever I have to say. Like right now, it comes to me. Also, I feel like I've been doing what you were saying. Like I try to ask the universe and God, like, oh my God, I have this to-do list. Please give me like this boost of something so I can start my task. And it's been working as well, like mainly for social media. Like I know I have to post, but sometimes I don't feel like posting. So when it comes, it's even better, and I just go for it, do a story, talk about something, share the news, uh, edit something, finish that project. My advice is to have a file with all the ideas, because if not, they go away. And I think that's what has keeping me like consistent. I've been doing also a lot like social proof, like sharing pictures of other people on my profile. Before I wasn't doing that, and it's been working, because then they repost that picture, and then other people is like, oh my God, that person has that product, I have to follow. So it's a combination of a lot of things. But I think because I've been very consistent, and then doing the sale, and then the Instagram, all the Instagram model definitely gives you the structure and the basic like the basis to know what's next. And also like this sheet that you have with a bunch of ideas. Those are things like, I don't know why you never think about them. Like post any type of celebration. And I was like, why I am not doing that right now? Like I should have done that before. And then I did it for like the 3,000 followers. I was like, oh my God, this is a milestone, guys. Like this is big. And the more you do it, more people wants to follow you and share about it and like support you. So my friends are like, oh my God, yeah, someone is buying. We should be buying from her. Like this is serious. And now I feel it like that. This is not just like my hobby job. This is I mean, I put in all my heart, all my effort, so that's why I think I also am seeing all the results.
Yeah. And I want to elaborate on two things that you said. So one thing you mentioned is the SEL, the SEL method. So this is
Mhm.
something that I teach inside PBA of what to say on your stories, exactly what to post to get orders. So I love how Catalina is like, yeah, I just post this and then an order comes. And I remember one time I saw Catalina doing this on her stories, and then instantly I went and bought a piece. And you messaged me, you're like, thank you so much. I'm like, your SEL method got me. It totally did. So like
Yeah.
when you guys put it into practice, it's like that stuff leads to sales. And how you mentioned there's also 40 content ideas. It's like if you're struggling, go into PBA, pull this document. Oh, I can actually post this. What a great idea. So just to keep that creativity going and to keep giving you guys options and ways to keep showing up and selling your products. Now, what I want to ask you is tell us more a little bit about PBA Live. What was your experience like? Because that is our 2-day in-person event for PBA members only. Catalina was there, Chelsea was there, Kimberly Fritz was there. We had over this time, we had close to 40 people, I think, that attended. So, what was your experience like for you?
Well, for me, it was a super deep experience because I found out I wasn't alone. Like I was feeling very lonely. And being able to be vulnerable with everyone, like open up, seeing that I wasn't crazy, like there is more people like me that wants to chase their dreams, like go after like entrepreneur people, a lot of amazing women, was like life changing too, because I was like, wow, this is my community. And then every topic like that we talk about wasn't related about the business like, but even more transforming because it was like a deep talk to yourself. So I completely believe that if you join, you have to try to go because this experience definitely gets it's deeper than you think. Like I have a list of notes that I keep reading each morning to remind myself my value, like how important is my voice. Of course, we all have like some traumas there. So this experience was not like, oh, you are going to learn how to sell. This experience was even deeper. It's like another layer. And all those things that are stopping you from not selling, I think they start from there. And that's why I keep listening to the podcast, because the podcast, some of the topics you talk about during this experience were like in those podcasts. And it's the reminder of like, okay, what is stopping you, and like going back and looking back what really is stopping you. And it's not your friends, it's yourself, like it's the mirror of yourself, like judging other people. It's like one of the things that I learned the most, and I keep like reminding myself and my husband, is the use of the word but. Like I made a sale, but it was to a friend, and now I'm switching it to and all the time. So it's like, wait. And that piece of information, I was like, it's right. Like, why do I have to be that hard to me? Like all the time I'll be like, oh, I did a sale, but it was to my best friend. And it's like, and what's the matter? Like, what's wrong? Like, it's your best friend and what? So I start like recognizing more how I speak to myself, and it helps because it's like I have way more joy when I have smaller things, and also when I have huge things is like, okay, this is big, but it could be bad in any time, so don't get overexcited either. Like controlling my emotions, and then meeting this beautiful community. We kept in contact with some of them in the group, also like seeing, it's not the same seeing us through here than seeing us in person, because when I see, I don't know, Kimberly did this and that, it's like, oh my God, Kimberly is doing that now. And it's like, wow, it's a whole group. So definitely it's an experience I am gonna try to join next year as well, because to me it was not just for my work, but also for my personal life. I think I needed that in that moment.
Yeah. Well, that's so beautiful to hear. And that's what a lot of people say about PBA is yes, it's a business course and you're going to grow as a business owner, but it's also a personal development course. And why I say that is because your business will grow to the extent that you grow. So if your business isn't growing, it may be something underneath the surface. It may be something holding you back. Maybe it's some sort of belief or fear or doubt that's really preventing that next step. So you can have all the strategies you want, but if your mind isn't on board with it,
Mhm.
those strategies aren't going to be executed to their fullest potential. So, for example, someone can show up on social media and be really discouraged, and they're not going to show up in their best way. Or if they show up on social media after this event and really getting to know themselves, it's like, I want to show up on social media. This is fun. Let me connect with people. And the shift in how we speak to ourselves, the shift in what we believe to be true about business is what can get from one side to the other. So thank you, Catalina, for sharing all that with us.
You.
Amazing. Okay, let's go to Kimberly Valdez. I want to talk about K Bella Crafts. So Kimberly is newer to PBA, joined in May, while Chelsea and Catalina joined in January. So Kimberly, tell us how your business has shifted because before you mentioned you were primarily selling local, you were doing pop-ups. That was the gist of your business. And when you were on the call yesterday, I heard you say more about like CEO mentality and switching from creativity to sales. So just tell us how your business has really changed in just a few short months.
Yeah, I mean that's been the biggest shift personally for me and how I've changed the business and you've helped with that. And I remember on one of the calls, it wasn't this last yesterday's call, it was I think last month, you were talking about the slow month, right? And you were saying, yeah, but what makes it a slow month? And we're like, no, no, statistically, look at the numbers, it's slow. And you're like, but just because it's a slow month doesn't mean you let your foot off the gas. And I was like, wow, that's true. And that's what I end up doing. Every year it's the same pattern. It's up, May, June is here. I'm just gonna get, take the foot off the pedal and see what happens. And just kind of the business was just like going on its own, right? But this year, starting in May, I think was a perfect time. It was right before my slow business. And I didn't. I pushed the pedal even harder and you looked at my Etsy shop. I'm like, I'm not making any sales. You're like, you are making sales. You made 35 in 5 years. So at least you made, and you said, it needs a lot of TLC. I'm going to give you 90 days to do it. And so, setting those goals and creating that showing up regardless of whether you have sales today or not, showing up for your people, for your customers, putting your products in their face, and just doing that, like you said earlier, in May this year compared to last year, I doubled my numbers.
That is amazing. That's so
Yeah.
amazing. What shifted in your mindset? So I heard you say some things, but what else? Is it like taking this business more seriously or focusing on sales? Like what? Tell us more.
I don't think it's so much of taking it, more seriously because I think whenever we put our heart and soul, and I know every one of you girls here, know how it is grinding and really putting your heart and soul into something. So it wasn't so much that, but it was more of the shift in mentality. And Catalina touched a little bit on it as well, is shifting you psychologically, like, I can do this. I am capable of doing this. And having the support behind you. And when you're having a bad day, somebody else acknowledging it and saying, okay, let's go, stand up, dust it off, and let's move forward. How are we going to now recover from that loss? Or, for example, when I started with you, I had my store in a brick and mortar store. It didn't work out. The landowner was giving us the runaround about AC. My products were getting ruined. So I had to take all my products out. I had to stop my lease. I'm like, okay, that was a little setback, but you know what? It gave me the mentality that I can do it. And taking that risk and realizing that the big risk is the big reward. It's just
Mhm.
getting out of your comfort zone to do it.
Yes, 100%. One thing I also saw you do, which I loved, was when you joined PBA, you got access to the Sales Today challenge, which was 40 ways to make sales today. And I remember you were like, okay, let's go. You give me a list of 40 ways to make sales. I am going to put this into action. So tell me what happened once you got this list, what results you saw.
So in 5 years, I have never run a sale ever, nothing. I have stuff. in storage from like 3 years ago from holidays that I need to probably do sales on, right? Because they're just sitting there. So when you said that, I said, oh, it was graduation season. Kids are graduating high school. And so I made a graduation sign personalized with the child's name on it with 2025 behind it. And I did a flash sale for 24 hours. And I think I made $300 that day or whatever. I made 10 sales. I was like, oh my God, I would have sat here on this day, not making probably any sales, just, going through the motions, and yet pushing you to do that sale and challenging created that extra $300 in sales, so it was really cool.
Yeah. And I also saw you get really scrappy too. Like once that happened, it's like, okay, Kim, whatever you're doing, where you're posting, where your audience is, like just keep getting scrappy with it. And you're like, oh, I posted in this mom's group and in this neighborhood group.
Right.
I'm like, yes, like it's
Yeah.
it's it's finding these pockets, it's finding these ideas. And PBA, there's some very in-depth concepts. Like some of the social media stuff is really in-depth. And then there's also really quick concepts of flash sale. What do you got? Where are your people? How can you speak to them? So there's the dichotomy of both. And I just saw you take off and you're just, oh God, this happened, this happened, this happened. I'm like, that is what it's about. Like putting that gas, that pedal to the metal.
I did. And I have like, if you look at my phone, I'm sure like all the other moms, I have like 20 different WhatsApp group chats going. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there. And I would just put it out there, and then I would have 5 sales that day. And then what happens is within the chat, all the other moms are seeing that these moms are buying, and they create FOMO. And they're like, well, how can I order? I did it with the college rosaries, and I sold a ton of them just putting it on the chat. So I never did that before. And you're like, get into those groups, get into them, find your niche in your areas. And so that was another push that I would have never thought of doing.
Oh, that's awesome. Now tell me, how's
Yeah.
Etsy doing? Have you put some TLC into Etsy? Is that growing for you?
So I remember when you said you're gonna need 90 days. I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna need 90 days. Well, no, I needed 90 days. I really did. I needed that much tender loving care. So I revamped I followed exactly what you did. The banner, I did all of my listings, I did the chart that to research other people look like tags, and I did the whole thing. And I'm happy to say that after doing all of that, let me just tell you a little statistics. In the last year and a half, I only made 3 sales on Etsy, earning $70. But in the last month and a half since I went live after doing the TLC, I've made over 70 sales and earned $2,700.
What? I haven't heard that stat from you yet, so this is
I
my
know I've
live
been hiding it
reaction.
from you.
Oh my gosh, you're hiding this from me.
So
Wow.
in a month and a half, I've applied. I took your advice on running the ads. So I did running the ads. For example, in the last month, just for September, I think I've spent $60 on ads, but I've made 700 from them, So it's, if you can get over the, oh my God, I got to put out now, but you're going to make it back. I did all the coupons that you recommended. I did every single style coupon you can imagine. I've made some sales on the coupons, which is great. At the end of the day, technically the coupon's only 5%, but in their head it's 30.
Mhm.
So, those tricks that you show are definitely amazing. And so, yeah, I've been doing good. In addition, I told you in the very beginning, my goal was to get outside of Miami, Florida. All my sales were just Miami. So in the last month and a half, I've made over 18 sales, and 18 different states sales
Oh my
and repeated
gosh.
clients. So super
Wow.
excited about that. So
That
I
is
am now spreading
amazing.
nationally. And that was my intentions. And that's the reason why I wanted to do Etsy. On the downside, my website's getting nothing, even though I stopped the old website. I redid my website like you recommended, started with Shopify. It gets visits. I don't get sales, but if I look at it as I'm really competing with Google at that point and the search engine. And I know that you were very clear that when people go on Etsy, they know exactly what they want. They
Hmm.
know exactly what they want to buy. They know exactly what keywords they're going to put in. And that has been by far the biggest change for me.
Yeah. And this is a beautiful example too. And I love that you share that with us. Similar to what Catalina said, it's planting the seeds. And some of the seeds aren't going to sprout right away, you know, like how
Right.
you said your website, your Etsy, cool. Similar to Nancy, you pulled that Etsy book, you did the TLC, you increased your sales like crazy. And now maybe it's more of like the social media website book. So taking a page out of what Catalina's doing and showing up in a way, building community that way. But the beautiful part of PBA is like, cool, now we just dive into that if that's the next 90-day project you want to do. So
Correct.
you are in the perfect position to now be like, okay, what's next? Which is so amazing to see, like to see that shift. And I want to also ask you about some of the larger orders you're getting, because you're getting orders like
Oh,
for what is it, party favors, weddings, baptisms? Like, are these people finding you on Etsy, or how is this coming about?
yes. So the two bookmark orders were the two weddings. Actually, one was a wedding and one was bookmarking 75th birthday.
Uh-huh.
So they were both favors, very large orders. And then the other large order was a local order. But, I pushed them through Etsy so that I can get that out there. Um, and and it's actually they're so beautiful, everything that's been coming out. And I've gotten such good responses over those. So yeah, the big orders are coming in.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, last question I want to ask you is about the rebrand because you went through the rebrand process. You worked with Kendra. I know that she told me that you just loved everything that she put together. So just tell us how that experience was.
I did, and I'm gonna tell you how funny that when she first of all, going through the process is like a for me, it was a spiritual retreat. Having to dig deep, having to know your why, having to know your reason behind everything. And I never did that, like I mentioned earlier, this company started during COVID. I needed to just make some money somehow, and I just started this. And I just bought a logo on Etsy and never thought twice of any branding behind it. It was, that's my logo, this is my name, and let's move on. And she really makes you think about so much. And it was the most beautiful process, I have to tell you, that I went through about myself, about K Bella, about why am I doing this? So that alone was absolutely an amazing experience. And when she did the reveal, I fell in love with it right away. She's like, any changes? I'm like, none. Like, she's like, are you sure? I'm like, none. I love everything. I love everything the way it looks. And when I showed my husband and my daughter who I started the business with, they're like, we don't like it. And I'm like, you guys have to just let go of like the old and embrace the new. And this is going to be so much. And now they're absolutely obsessed over it.
Yes.
And it's really cool seeing, and my husband's like, oh, but I'm a little nervous, like with your loyal customers here in Miami, are they going to feel like you're leaving them behind because you're trying to grow? Are they going to lose that personal connection with you? Those are the things that are valid, right? And because I was such a local based company, but all my customers are raving about my packaging, about the packaging tape that I created on the sticker mule that you recommended. My stickers, Kendra even loved the stickers that I made with my logo. Everything is just on point and it's just gorgeous. It looks cozy, it looks crisp, and it still keeps that sacred vibe that Bella strives for.
Yeah. Oh, that's so amazing
Yeah,
to hear. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, a rebrand can be very hard to do. And even hearing from Chelsea, like she was struggling with the thought of it as well. But what's so fun is when you're sharing it with your customers and your followers, like they get so excited. They want to see what you're doing. They want to see the evolution. They want to see the journey. They want to celebrate the change. So it's actually like a really fun thing to take people on, like behind the scenes, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this rebrand, and then taking them to the final end result too. So it sounds like your customers ended up being really on board and loving it too.
They did. And then just to create the change, I did do a reel and I explained the reason behind the change. And it gave me an opportunity to all my new followers to explain who I am, why I started, why the change. And I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from it. It's been an absolute game changer for me. I love it. I love when I'm mailing out an item, whenever I'm mailing something out of Florida. I'm posting it on my story, heading to Texas, heading to North Carolina. And local people are like, we're so proud of you growing up and you're actually doing it. And they're behind me and cheering me on. So it's been exciting.
Oh, I love that. So
Yeah.
good. So good. Thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
so much, Kimberly, for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go to our second Kimberly. Now, Kimberly, take us down a little bit of memory lane here because you shared with us you were doing markets, markets, markets. Food business, got to be at the markets, making food. If you don't sell it, it pretty much goes to waste. It can be a really tough business model. Now, tell us what shifted after PBA and what your business looks like currently.
Yes, so it's been a very exciting journey. I think a lot of times, I think everybody in Product Biz Academy, they feel like their identity is tied to, their business model that maybe they came up with before. But being in Product Biz Academy, and I think everyone has touched on this really well today, it's not just about like following modules. You can buy all these silly courses out there in the universe, but it's really about the community, and it's exciting to be supported by other businesses who truly understand what you're going through, because I feel like we're always on this little iceberg all by ourselves. And and to hear other people say like, oh, I did these markets, but I did these markets just because I wanted to, not because I had to. And you said something to me really early on that just kind of gave me permission to step back for a second, to look at, maybe reevaluate why I was doing all these markets and everything. And I guess in the beginning, it was just like, okay, you have to have exposure. If you want to grow your business, this is like an easy way to do it. But like you said, we're having food and everything. What if we're doing a market? It is literally 116 degrees out. People might not want to come out and buy protein bites in the middle of the melting summer. So we would come home with, a lot of product left over, and then we'd either have to run a flash sale, or I just felt like we were always playing catch up or move ahead, or, do production or whatever. But you said something to me, and it was very profound, and it literally changed the course of our business. So you said, do you have to do these markets? Do you want to do these markets? Or what if you created space to work on different facets of your company? So it was very exciting. And I never, I guess, was given permission before to kind of step back and look at my business in that regard. It was just always like, we got to make money. We have to make money. And I did create my business literally right when the pandemic was beginning. And it was just like, I've got to do this because I have to make money for our family. And there were certain months where it was really scary before joining Product Biz Academy. And I was like, are we going to be able to put food on our table for our children? Are we going to be able to, keep a roof over our heads? And so, it kind of gets emotional, and we're lonely sometimes being solopreneurs out there. But the coolest thing about Product Biz Academy is having a community, having people who share in that space. And so after you just basically gave me permission to look at my business model, to look at to have some more clarity and to have focus. And that's a really cool thing about all the modules and everything in Product Biz Academy. It gives you a better sense of direction. But I think it was either Catalina or Chelsea, or probably both of you, who mentioned in the 2-day Product Biz Academy in-person workshop and everything, we didn't really even talk about business. We talked about dealing with, past experiences, what kind of shapes us and everything. And I've had the joy of being in Product Biz Academy now for over 2 years. And so the first year was really transformational and just like more mental than anything. And so when you gave me permission to take a step back, look at the markets, and you even have like a little spreadsheet in Product Biz Academy that broke down, are we really making money on doing these different markets and everything? And we really weren't. I mean, yes, it's like sharing, fast money and quick money or whatever and chasing that. But after you gave me permission, I literally quit all of my markets except for one. And it was one that we have a lot of loyal customers, and it's a great market and everything. But even then, so I didn't have to be there every single weekend, every single opportunity. And so then I took a step back. I focused on what was really important for my business, what I was doing for my customers. I know a lot of you here already know my story, but our whole business started because I was going through cancer. And when our family really revamped our food that we put in our bodies, our environment and everything, we realized there was a really huge space and a huge need for other people who wanted to enjoy healthy food that tasted great, and it fueled everybody's life adventures, especially going through a pandemic and stuff. So it was exciting to have that shift, and Monica just kind of giving me like a literally one sentence permission of, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you want to, fantastic, go for it. And we still, participate in markets here and there, but now it really shifted over to our online presence. One of the cool things as a gift, Monica is so generous when joining Product Biz Academy, is to do some professional photography. And that was probably one of my most exciting things that really elevated my business within Product Biz Academy is I had the opportunity to work with Manu, who does professional photography, kind of like lifestyle photography for products, because food, I mean, everybody can, we all have to eat food every single day. I don't really know how exciting food can be, but somehow Manu made food super exciting. She made it like desirable. And so using the photography that she provided me as a gift within joining Product Biz Academy, it elevated my business. I was able to use those photos constantly on our website, which helped our website grow. And then that really shifted from whatever we were making in markets and stuff. I just was so frustrated with having to do these markets all the time. So then how can I bring this more to my website? How can I bring it more to social media and everything? And something like using elevated product photo shoots and everything, that was a big change. It was really fun, and it kind of invigorated me, like, oh, people get excited about this because it's not just eating food. Everyone has to eat food every day, but it's bringing people together. It's bringing businesses together. Businesses don't want the crummy donut platter that's going to, put you in a sugar coma 10 minutes after you're eating it. They want something that's going to fuel you. They want something that's going to invigorate you, that they want something that's going to, help you in life's journey. And a lot of people know me. They know that I'm really active, and living in Arizona, there's so much to explore and discover and enjoy. And my family and I were always hiking. We're always going on these crazy adventures. And what's going to help us with that is the fuel that we're putting in our bodies. So we can show like real life examples of how our products work. But, and it was really exciting too, that after quitting these markets and stuff, and I'm like, oh, how am I going to, make up that extra income that I was making for markets and stuff? Well, within a couple of weeks of quitting my markets, I was actually making double the amount of sales on my website. I hit my first, a 5-figure month with basically just internet sales and website sales and, some Instagram sales, a little bit of Facebook here and there, but no market sales. I mean, so it kind of shifted over one weekend. And then I got really excited because it's like, man, if I don't have to hustle and set up in 117-degree heat and do all this outside in Arizona, and I can still be, with my family, I can still have adventures. It creates more space and more time to do what I want to do. And I feel like before joining PBA, I was always like really reactive, and I was just like, okay, you have a sale, you got to quick make the product and get it out to the customer. But now I can be more proactive, have way better photography to support my products and everything. And it just kind of gets more exciting. And I actually have created better pockets of time to be with my family and to do what I want to do. So if there is an event that I want to do, yeah, fantastic. But I get excited about that event, and I get excited to share my products with the people instead of just dredging all my product, in our Jeep and unloading everything, being angry about being there in the heat. And so there's so much transformational mental change too, and personal development that happens not only within Product Biz Academy, but within ourselves and within the community that Monica, you have really built. And I think all the ladies on here today who have done in-person Product Biz Academy, get-togethers. It's transformational. It's so powerful.
Yeah. Oh, I love hearing that story. Love seeing how much your business shifted. And I want you to also touch on wholesale because that's been a big thing that you've been focusing on too. And I know that we had a chat about that of, okay, cool. Online sales are coming in, things are rolling smoothly. Now, same question like we've been saying with everyone is what's the next book? So how are things going with retail opportunities, wholesale? How many coffee shops, etc., have your products stocked? What is that looking like?
Yeah. So kind of making that shift and everything because I didn't want to have to like always have this reactive approach. But I'm like, if obviously people can find our products in coffee shops and gyms and fitness institutions and stuff, because that's kind of our main markets and everything, it has been very exciting. I know you and I had a conversation a couple months ago about like, hey, where does this next chapter look for us? And I would love to get in more coffee shops and fitness institutions. So we've been doing a lot of just grinding, asking ChatGPT to put together a list of local businesses that would be applicable to hold our products and everything. And it's been really exciting to whether I email, I research ahead of time, I'm commenting on local businesses and if it's their Instagram or whatever. And we've had some really exciting yeses along the way. We've had some really hard no's along the way, but then it's also been really exciting because I've had some not yets. And the people that have said the not yet, it's actually helping us be a better company. And certain businesses that we reached out to, and they're like, yeah, we would probably be interested in a product like yours, but have you ever thought of doing this, or have you ever thought of doing that? So I'm like, wow, for that's so powerful to me because I'm like, these businesses they do see value in my product and they do want it, but hey, maybe they just want something a little bit different for their audience. And it's helping us grow as a company because we would love to walk into every gym, every coffee shop, every fitness institution, every place that, you just kind of want like to grab a little something to go. Heck, being in the airport or something like that. People do truly want to eat healthy. And when it's made convenient and it tastes great and they know that it's going to, do something good for their body, people do get excited about it. So yeah, it's been really exciting. We are growing. We've added 2 new coffee shops. So that's really exciting for us. And then actually one of the coffee shops that initially said, hey, not right now, they reached back out to us and said, we have an interesting opportunity to do kind of like 4 events in the month of September. You are our #1 vendor that we thought of. So if you'd like to join us for these 4 events, and we did our first one this past Sunday, and it was phenomenal. Like I said, it wasn't that we had to do a market or we didn't have to do this event or whatever, but we wanted to, and we went in there with so much joy and so much just excitement to bring to the community. And we were definitely blown away with the community's response to our product. So we just never know what kind of doors can open from doing something like that and not getting discouraged along the way PBA, because even if it's a door that gets slammed in your face, it's a not yet. And so it only helps us be better as a company, and whether that's revamping packaging or, labeling or something along the way, or just and it's helping our business be more efficient so that we can get more product out, which in turn brings in more sales too.
Oh, so amazing. Love this and love this next step for you. Okay,
Thank
Karen,
you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I
Yeah.
want to open this next question up. There's three more questions I want to ask. The first question I want to ask is, for who on our panel was joining PBA a like financial stretch? It was like, holy crap. Can I do this? This is a stretch. Okay, all hands. Put your hands up. Okay, so talk me through the mentality of what made you say yes, knowing that it was a financial stress. Who would
I
like?
can go first if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Um, I'm gonna be jumping off and getting onto my phone because I gotta go do pickup. But um, I was like, just I knew that I had to do this. I like I said earlier, big risks, big rewards. Obviously it's paid off. One fact I did forget to mention with you is that my sales from the summer of last year, taking the foot off the pedal, to summer of this year, I increased 150%.
Wow.
That alone has almost paid off your schooling. So yes, you're chunking it up and you could break it up, and it's feasible, but the monthly payments were feasible. And the coolest part is my mom's in her mid 70s and she comes here and she works. Like, she heard yesterday the things and she was like, wow, that's so cool. She actually offered to pay for it. She's like, I want to invest in your company. I'm like, well, really, there's no need for that. It's okay. She says, no, 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 I want to invest. So she ended up purchasing it for me as a gift.
Mhm.
So there's other people that may want to invest in you. You just have to put it out there and see what happens. And it was a cool experience. But just in that month alone, when you look at your numbers, when I look at my numbers, and I'm like, wow, 150% increase compared to last year. That's a really big increase.
Mhm.
So yes, it's worth it. And it's a big chunk in the beginning, but when you see it actually play out, and like you said, in May, so from May to September, I've already paid it off based on what I've been increased in sales.
Yeah. And you're in PBA Platinum too, which is the more expensive program, already paid off. And now it's just more money in your pocket, more money in your bank account, more knowledge on how to keep growing your business for the lifetime of
Correct.
your business.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, who else would like to share? What was their thought process with the financial part of joining PBA? We'll do maybe
I
one
can
more.
share.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Yeah. I think one of the hard parts for me was that when I was trying to do research on what PBA was about and like what handmade meant, I was like, this is a lot of things that didn't seem to be in my wheelhouse. I don't know, in my niche. Obviously, it was a lot of like soaps and body care and face care and food and different things. And I was like, I don't know if it's handmade, but I don't know if this is the same kind of handmade. And I had bought, again, little courses here and there that were specific to laser cutters or specific to painters or, different things like that. And so I was like, this is a huge investment in something that I really don't know if it will work or if it's even something that Monica is able to do because I'm not doing skincare and I'm not that was my biggest fear was like I'm gonna invest in this. My husband was like, well, she doesn't do anything with woodworking. She doesn't do anything with home decor. We were really back and forth on it because it's scary. And again, it's a lot of money. And I joined the live kind of similar to what you're doing this week, same thing. And just hearing you talk and hearing you encourage and saying like, yes, I have the steps there, and yes, I'm a business coach, but you have to put in the work. These are the steps that you need for your foundation, and this is what you have to do to grow it. I was like, okay, I'm here for that. I really liked that mindset, and it wasn't just investing in the business, it was also investing in me, which I felt like you portrayed that really well in the live that I watched. I was like, she just spent 3 hours talking to a bunch of random people, and some of them were, well, the majority were super nice, and then there's these random ones that are like, you don't even know what to do with, you know, auto body detailer business, or something random like that. I was like, wait, what? And your response was something like, if this isn't what you think you need, you're welcome to leave. Like, you don't have to stay here. And I was like, okay, you know what? This is like, you had the confidence, and you had the confidence in the other people that were there. And you also had the confidence to say, like, I trust in my business, and I trust in what I am sharing with you and the knowledge that I'm sharing with you. And if that's not the knowledge that you want, that's okay. And I was like, okay, I can invest in that, just alone, the mindset, because I was like, she believes in her stuff. Okay, I'm going to believe in it. And the things that you were willing to share without a financial commitment was also amazing, because most people are like, nope, I'm not sharing any of that knowledge unless I have, again, you've paid for it, or it's $27 or whatever. And I was thinking, I've bought a lot of $27, $57, $69 little courses, and they didn't even touch the iceberg of what you were willing to share for free. And I was like, okay, all right. I've just got to trust that what my gut is telling me is right. And I'm so happy I did.
Oh, I hear that from a lot of people. It's like they're like it was just a gut instinct. It was like I knew. And I'm
Yep.
like, yeah, lean into that.
I was terrified, but
Oh
yes. I
yeah.
think
Doesn't
I
doesn't
think
make
I
it any
said
less
that
scary.
actually when I was like, we had to post something on Instagram, I think that was like, I'm in or something. And I said, I'm in, maybe crying a little bit. I think I need to poop emoji my pants. Like, I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
doing in it. It was the best decision ever.
Oh, yeah, but that's the interesting thing is people think they need to feel safe before they invest. It's like you're gonna always feel scared. It's not about waiting until it feels comfortable. It's like this is scary and I see that I can get value from this. So how do I make it work? How do I trust myself? How do I invest in myself? How do I invest in my business? And once I'm in, how do I make the most of it to easily pay it off that first month, that second month,
100%.
that third month, and boom.
Yep.
Easy peasy. The whole point of
Yes.
the program is to make money. So it's like you get the tools on the inside to cover that cost and more.
Yeah, and
Doesn't
I
make it
felt
any
like
less
it was
scary though.
terrifying, because it was like, well, I have to pull up money out of my savings account to pay for this, and it's not a business expense right now. And same thing of like a Hail Mary of, um, if this doesn't work, this was my Hail Mary, and this was like, am I cut out for this? Am I not cut out for this? And again, literally, I think we did like the PBA launch call, the first call, and I was like, yep, okay, sold, done. Yeah, I'll get there. I don't know when, if it'll be 90 days, if it'll be 6 months, if it'll be 6 days. I'm like, it's going to pay for itself, hands down.
Absolutely. Beautiful. What about you, Catalina? Because you had left your full-time job when you were on the verge of enrolling. Is that right?
Yeah, so to me, it was also pulling out from my savings. It was January, I remember, because it was a very slow month. So I was freaking out, and it was like, oh my God. I wasn't sure also because of that. Then we had our call, and then my husband was like, you should just do it. Like, anyways, you're gonna learn something. Again, yeah, what people has mentioned, I have already learned just from the free courses and every all the things that you have available just for free. So it was like, I have to freaking do this. I'm just gonna do it. And then another thing that I learned at PBA, and I remember, I try to remind myself every day, is that how lucky I am. I'm so lucky. So every month, like, I didn't pay everything, so I'm paying monthly. And suddenly every month it's been great. Like, I've been able to pay it. So if I was able to pay it, seriously, you're gonna be fine, and you are gonna take the most of it, and it's gonna be worth it. Like, for me, it's been amazing, and I wasn't sure. I was very nervous. I was scared, and I've been not just promoting my work and your work here, but also to my friends, because I go to markets and it's like, guys, you have to at least listen to the podcast because it's gonna change your life. So, yeah.
Oh, well, that's I love hearing that. So thank you for sharing that. Kimberly Fritz, do you want to share anything on this topic?
Yeah, I just feel like when you invest in a course, like Chelsea said, whether it's $57 or $99, you I think almost like having a higher price tag, you realize like, okay, this is going to be invaluable, but it actually holds you more accountable because you're like, okay, I am putting forth quite a big investment, but it's literally putting it back in myself, and it's doing personal development. And I mean, within Product Biz Academy, you even suggest books that you can read to, better yourself. And it's like literally if this is amazing. Not only are you teaching us to be better human beings, better family members, better business folks and everything, but it actually holds you accountable. And I think every single person who has invested in Product Biz Academy, they've certainly made back their investment and everything, and sometimes tenfold. And but it's a great accountability, and what I think it's actually invaluable because you can't put a price tag on the other entrepreneurial friendships that we've all developed within Product Biz Academy, and the information that you have. I mean, not only is it super well organized, it's very accessible, it's very doable. So, and you put it in like little chunks that you can just kind of bite off as you go along. And I mean, some months I'm like, oh man, I have only accomplished a couple slides or whatever, but it's making a lot of progress within my business. But then because you know that you are paying for something, you're like, wow, I really can get a lot of value out of this. And I don't think there's one single person who hasn't invested in Product Biz Academy and that has done the work, has not gotten their investment and then some back. So it holds you accountable. And yes, at first my husband and I were like, man, can we even afford this? Can we do this? But within the first 2 months, it was like, oh yeah, I don't know why. I wish I could have done this sooner to get my business on track faster and just be more focused with everything.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear that so much from people. It's like, and that's why when people always say like, "Oh, I'll join PBA next time," it's like you're gonna miss the opportunity cost is the sales that you're missing from joining right now because you're gonna learn how to make sales. So if you want to postpone those sales for another 6 months or 8 months, that's fine. But wouldn't you want to bring those sales up sooner? So I love hearing you say that too. Okay, last question I want to ask you all, and maybe take a 30-second moment. Is what has been the ripple effect on your life from joining PBA? So, yes, we've heard things from like business strategy, less markets, more money, more sales, etc. But what about how this has impacted relationships, life, confidence, who you are, your outlook, like anything? Let's hear that ripple effect. Who would like to go first?
I'll
Kimberly?
go, Monica. I think it's very exciting because my children have grown up the last couple of years watching mom hustle and everything. And it's teaching the next generation that if you want something badly enough, you can work for it. There is truly nothing out of your reach if you work hard, and especially having a business mentor who can show you how to personally develop yourself. It is amazing. I mean, my family, like my immediate family, my children and husband, we've just all noticed that we're better people. We're really driven. We're way more motivated. We actually communicate better. And it's really exciting that it kind of has involved our whole family just because when you run a small business, it went from say like even 2 years ago, my extended family, I don't know whether siblings or cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents and stuff, they'd be like, "Oh, how's that little business of yours going?" And but now it's like, "Oh man, I saw that you were in this store, or you sell your products in LA Fitness, and stuff like that." So not only is it I guess having way more confidence as an individual, but it's teaching the next generation how to go for their dreams, how to work hard for something, and you just kind of have to have a different mentality of we'll figure it out along the way. I think everybody has kind of touched on one way or another here today that you're never going to be ready. Something is going to be messy, whether it's your Instagram, your social media, your website, your products, your branding. Everything is always going to be messy at one point. But if you constantly stay consistent, you work through the hard stuff, there's going to be lots of ups and downs within business. But when you stay consistent, you will look back even 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 6 years, and you can say, wow, I came from there. We laugh to look at our packaging a few years ago, or things along the way. But not only are you have to be fully convicted and say, hey, if I stay consistent, we're creating something better for the next generation. And then, new customers are finding our products. So that ripple effect, like you said, it's taking over communities, it's taking over actual family generations and leaving the next step better for everyone else, and all the while increasing confidence in every business owner personally. It's bettering familial relationships. My husband and I say all the time, like, well, we're just gonna jump in with both feet first, and we'll figure it out along the way. So, things get messy, but it actually gets really exciting, and our outlook on life is just way more positive. So, we're touching people all across the nation, with the hard work that we're doing within ourselves and within our business today. So, and also you never know who you're going to touch too. So I definitely think I'm Monica's biggest cheerleader. She just has helped me get my business to a much better situation and spot. And so I tell everybody, hey, there's a better way out there, especially if we're doing like events or markets. And I'm like, I have this little hidden gem and a hidden secret. It's called Product Biz Academy. Go ahead and listen to the podcast first, and jump in right away, because it's an opportunity that you do not want to miss, and it's an investment in your future and in future generations. Now, to see my kids, and they are already talking just as teenagers about businesses that they want to start, because of what they've seen mom do along the way. So it's teaching others a hard work ethic and showing what consistency can do for business, for financial future, and everything else in between.
Oh, so beautiful. Mic drop moment right there. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Chelsea, what about you? Ripple effect of joining PBA. How has it impacted your life in other ways outside of business?
So mine hugely is more personal, I think, than business. I think business would have come eventually. I've always done crafty things and, made gifts, and I think I would have continued to do that no matter what, with business, which now, of course, I'm far more confident in business, but personally, it's made my confidence grow exponentially. Like I am I'll say a recovering people pleaser. So, I mean, I've always been a perfectionist, a people pleaser, trying to do the right thing, very black and white, very by the rule book, very just strict on exactly how I felt like things needed to look, or how I needed to look, or how I had to present things. And again, like it's okay to show the messy and to show the real life. And I always did that with my very small group of people, but it's always been hard for me to do that on a broader scale. I've been really self-conscious my whole life and lacked self-confidence in that way. And it just like has exploded into a completely different thing of not feeling that. I don't know. It's been personally such a growth of like, again, I don't feel like I have to please everybody. I feel like I can say no, both professionally and personally. It used to be like, yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll because I didn't want anybody to be let down or feel like I wasn't making time for somebody. And now it's like, no, I'm spending time with my family. Same thing. I feel like it empowers my kids as well to be able to hear me say, no, we're going to do this, or no, we're going to do that, or being able to say, you know what, let's go to the pool this morning rather than maybe when mom gets done with work. Or I just feel like it has given me so much more confidence again in myself that my kids are able to see that, and my husband's able to see that, my family can see that I feel confident in myself, which I feel like empowers everything in your life. It's not one small thing, it's everything.
Yeah, amazing. So beautiful. Well, I love hearing that. Kimberly, this Kimberly number two. I don't know if you wanted to share anything if you're able. I know you're picking up kiddos, but
Yes, I was able to pull over and park. Um, it's I can definitely um relate to both Kimberly and to Chelsea. And in that sense, I remember this year when I made the decision and I said, I'm gonna make the decision. I'm only doing one pop-up shop this year, which is a weekend fair, like it's a fair weekend. So I set up Friday and I'm there until Sunday. And when I said that, my daughter, I saw her going, yes. And I was like,
aw,
why? She's 14. And she goes, Mama, you don't know the animal you turn into when you're preparing for those marketplaces
mhm,
because you're trying to keep up with your orders and you're trying to create all the bulk items to sell at these places, but you don't realize the person you turn into. And I was like, oh my God, like it really is affected her. And so I'm looking forward to that piece this year and doing an exchange for that so I could still have that personal connection with my clients. Since I had to close down the shop, I had to bring all that furniture home. I'm creating a little boutique at home and I'm going to do sip and shops. So I'm going to do the more private experience where I invite, my local customers in for a sip and shop.
yeah,
And she's really loving that idea and she sees it. And she knows the value in it. She sees, and they're all, and my husband even says, man, I'm just so proud of you. You kept the grit going and everybody sees the hard work that you're putting into it and that you're just not giving up and you're not, it took Coca-Cola this many years to get to the point that they're at. So just not giving up on yourself and knowing your worth. And I think that Monica, you do a great job at reminding us what our worth is
mhm,
and not compromising our prices based just to satisfy a customer because they could get it somewhere else for cheaper. Then go get it cheaper. You're not going to get the same quality. So knowing your worth and that ripple effect that I could teach my daughter of this is your worth. Know your worth. Because $1 at a bottle a bottle of water at the airport is not the same cost as a bottle of water in the park.
right.
So know your worth, and I think that you've done a very good job at teaching that, which can be a ripple effect as well in my home.
Beautiful. Thank you all for sharing that. And I love how every single one of you brought in your families and your kids and the ripple effect of what you do and how it translates to that. Because how we run business does affect our personal lives, and our family and kids and spouse are the ones that are with us the most to see that. And that you are all juggling moms and also business owners and kicking butt and growing so in so many ways from doing all of that. So thank you all so much. This was an incredible 2 hours getting to share your story with those here. Kelly just said this panel has been so amazing. So you guys are inspiring so many people. It's also going to go up on the podcast for people to listen to as well. What I want to spend the next 8 minutes doing is if you guys have any specific questions for Chelsea, Kimberly, or Kimberly, let us know. Catalina had to drop off for an appointment. But if there are any specific questions, we can compile those and ask them before our time is up. And while any questions are coming through, what I want to remind you all is that Product Biz Academy is open for enrollment at monicalittlecoaching.com/promo until tomorrow at midnight. So if you want to join these amazing people and see results and see community and see confidence, just like how they are, this is your chance to join us. Today, you heard from Chelsea, Kimberly, Fritz, and Catalina, who talked about PBA Live in particular. I'm sure Kimberly will be at the next one, but PBA Live is an in-person event that I host for PBA members only. And when you enroll in Product Biz Academy today, you get a free ticket to PBA Live. 2-day event in person, transformational underneath the surface to really bring out that confidence and bring out your authentic self so that you can be a better business owner, a better spouse, a better mom, a better person, and just feel confident in who you are and that massive ripple effect, which is what we do in PBA Live. So when you enroll today, you get that free ticket with your enrollment. Heather, if you want to type in your question, that's cool. That's all I have to say about PBA. We have our final live Q&A tomorrow with me at the same time, same Zoom room, and we'll also be doing an exercise at the beginning to wrap our training week together, to wrap it all up in a nice little bow. So I hope to see you guys there. Okay, Heather, let's hear your question in the chat, and then Chelsea just said PBA Live truly is transformational in your life, more transformational personally than it was for business. Opened my eyes to so many things. Yes. Heather said, I have so much to do and now adding in these trainings, how do you keep everything organized? So do any of our panelists want to answer that question because Heather did join PBA. So Kimberly Fritz, I see your hand up.
Yes. So at first, I also had the same question because I was like, how in the world am I going to run everything that I'm already doing and do additional trainings and stuff? Well, because I have to be in the kitchen a lot, I would literally listen to a lot of the modules and everything. While I was making product, while I was doing things. So I didn't at first think that I would be able to carve out the time. But then also the amazing things about, investing in myself and investing in these additional trainings and everything is it actually created a lot more pockets of time for me to make everything happen. In fact, I think Monica, you suggested like, I don't know, it was 18 months ago about doing a time study. And I did a time study and I realized, oh, I do have maybe 30 minutes here, 22 minutes there, 60 minutes there. And I just cut out those things that were not serving me in my life. And then I just replaced them with the Product Biz Academy trainings and everything. And then I also was taught how to be a better like time manager with my calendar and everything because I look forward to these types of opportunities and everything and just being on Zoom with our PBA family members here. And so my kiddos know that like, oh, mom's got her PBA Zoom calls blocked off in the calendar. And so at first I was like, oh, I don't think I can literally add one more thing on my plate. But PBA actually has made me more organized. It's made me a much better scheduler and it actually created more pockets of time within my life that I can then do with it however I please. And whether it's, creating more time for my family, or it's actually exciting to kind of just put that back into business. And it's much easier to stay organized now. In fact, PBA gave me focus and organization, whereas before I felt so chaotic. So I hope that kind of answered your question a little bit, Heather.
Yeah, that was super helpful. And one thing I'll add too is you guys have heard from these different panelists, and every single one of them is running their business in a different way. Some people are focusing on wholesale, some people on a website, some people on Etsy, some people are on social media. So the the good part about PBA is it's not about doing all of it at once. I don't think there's many. I think there's 2 people out of maybe 200 that have watched every single module in PBA. So not many people have, and that's not the point. It's not sit down and watch modules like you're watching Netflix. It's let's figure out what project is going to lead to results and focus on that one and build a business that will serve you, that will give you time, that will give you more sales, that will give you that too. Okay.
Can I jump in really
Yes, of
quick?
course.
So another quick thing, that idea that helped with how did I get it done? Your kids go to practice. I took my AirPods, I got my phone, I had my notebook, and I sat there for 2 hours, 3 times a week, doing module to module. And like you said, for me, you said to me, you challenged me, work on your Etsy first. And so, okay, so I just covered everything with Etsy because now I'm just starting the fair, and I'm just jumping into that. But it's going to take time to get all those. There's so much nuggets in all your modules. It's just impossible to do in that short period of time. So giving yourself grace and allowing your goals to be, okay, I want to focus on Etsy, or I want to focus on my website. So find out what your priority is and bring your AirPods with you and get it done wherever you are, wherever you see there's a lot of downtime and you're scrolling on Instagram. Instead of scrolling on Instagram, get those modules in.
Yes.
I
Amazing.
also have a little nugget. I don't know if it's Ariani. I'm thinking it for the next question. This might kind of answer this a little bit, but I also, again, I have young kids at home. I don't really get to just sit and focus on many things, and I was really worried about the timing of how long some of the modules were and how am I ever going to do this. So everybody has their way of doing it, but you can change the playback speed on on the modules as well. And so I would put in one of my headphones and I would listen to it on like a 1.5 playback speed once. And then I'd be like, okay, I need to really focus in on this, or I need to really focus in on this, or this was really helpful information. But like, same with audiobooks. I'm able to, listen to it when I'm in the car. And if I speed it up a little bit, because I've got to be there in 35 minutes and this one's 39 minutes, I'm going to speed up my playback speed a little bit. And then I can sit down and I can focus and I can have my mind wrapped around exactly what it is that I really want to hone in on. And then I haven't felt like I'd have had to go back and re-listen or revisit them or anything because I had that little like quick snippet while I was driving or quick snippet while I was making lunch, or like I had the overview and then I could sit down and just really focus on it at normal speed with my notebook and just kind of bust it out, honestly.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say too. A lot of people say, like, oh, I don't have the time to watch modules. It's going to take way more time to try to figure it out yourself, like years. So it's
1000%.
which option do you want to take? You know, you're going to condense timelines, you're going to collapse timelines, you're going to get results much faster. And yes, it will require carving some time, but finding those pockets, exactly what everyone said here. It's about finding those pockets, prioritizing, focusing, knowing where you want your business to go, saying no to certain things to have more pockets of time if needed. But it's all for a purpose. Like we're not just doing that just for fun. We're doing it with the intention of growing the business. So that's how it all beautifully comes together. Okay, well, we are right at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you so much to our panelists. You guys are incredible. So grateful and thankful to have you here sharing your story and inspiring so many people. Thank you for those who hung out with us live. And final reminder to join these incredible ladies in PBA. To join us, that link is monicalittleccoaching.com/promo. Can't wait to see all the new amazing small business owners that join us and hop in on this journey with us. So I will talk to you all soon and thank you so much for being here. Take care. Bye.